Uh, Hi guys. So I just wanted to say a reminder that I'm still sick, so my voice is still like really nasally and bad. Um, but yeah, I just wanted I'm just sorry about that when I'm recording. So it's just a reminder. Anyway, I'll get back to the intro. Hi guys. So I'm gonna read Transformers number one. So yeah, the reason I named my channel Omega Supreme 1938 is because I named it after a Transformer Omega Supreme. So I decided I'm going to read Transformers. So this is the first piece of Transformers media I'm pretty sure ever. It predates the show. The Marvel comic does. But yeah. So on the cover, Optimus Prime is like really big. He's crushing like a jet. I don't know if it's Starscream or not. There's Laserbeak, and Gears is like doing something. I don't know, but anyway, then there's the Witwikis on the side. Witwikis. But anyway, let's get started. So, circling the star Alpha Centauri, ages ago, was a planet unlike any other in the heavens, Cybertron. No rock or soil or sand contributed to its bizarre geography. Its contents were entirely mechanical. Cybertron existed from metallic surface to core as a vast Saturn-sized machine world, a world whose origins were lost in the dead past. Yet life has evolved here. It has grown and adapted and thrived in its environment remarkably well, and cities rose across a broad mechanical expanse. Cities that were the products of Cybertron's dominant life form. The Autobots, whereas life elsewhere in the cosmos usually evolved through carbon bonding, here it was the interaction of naturally occurring gears, levers, and pulleys that miraculously brought forth sentient beings. They created a mechanical paradise, a machine-filled landscape where each Autobot went about his pursuits in peace and prosperity. But every paradise has its serpent, and on this world was Megatron, commander of those who call themselves the Decepticons. Or yeah, Ravage is talking for some reason. So look at them below, contented. Fools, ripe for conquest. Indeed, Ravage. We have lived peacefully with the Autobots for eons, slowly, secretly gathering our strength and pursuing our technology. Now we shall strike at those who have brought the stagnation of peace and plenty to Cybertron. They shall learn the way of conflict, the way of war, the way of Megatron. In the weeks that followed, the Decepticons from everywhere reported for clandestine meetings to learn the logistics of the coming of Clash and their parts in the struggle. The wonders of their technology bestowed upon the Decepticons, the awesome ability to transform into weapons of unprecedented power. With these tasks completed, all was in readiness for the first assault. Strike, strike, with all the might at our command. Death to the Autobots, and decay for what they stand for. The war spread until it was a global conflict. The forces unleashed were staggering, unconceivable, and that each attack upon an Autobot stronghold was orchestrated with the precision of which only finely tuned machinery was capable. As the powers at play grew in strength, Cybertron itself was shaken loose from its orbit and sent hurtling through space. And still the war raged across the battle-scarred surface of the runaway planet. Though taken by surprise and destroyed by the billions in the initial assaults, the surviving Autobots were not defenseless. Each was gifted with the ability to alter his configuration into strange unearthly vehicles, vehicles of great offensive potential, and while the Decepticons and their armored aircraft shapes swooped through upon the many Autobot city-states erected during the war, the Autobot warriors stood firm and fought back. In time, the magnificent armies on each side of the struggle became known as the Transformers. Bill Mantlo plot, Ralph Macchio script, Frank Springer pencils, Kim DeMulder inks, Higgins E. Parker lettering, Nelson Yomtov coloring, Bob Budiansky editor, Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. Despite the valor of the Autobots, the Decepticons had planned the pattern of the war too well. Autobot casualties mounted everywhere, and in the forefront of the most devastating attacks stood the malevolent Megatron, whose deadly fusion cannon spewed endless streams of energy that laid waste to entire Autobot strongholds. Soon we Decepticons will have ground our enemies under our heel, and we shall begin our prime task, rebuilding Cybertron into a cosmic dreadnought. We shall turn our very planet into the single most deadly weapon in existence. Then let the universe beware. But from Iacon, greatest of the city-states, there came a leader to inspire the Autobots in their hour of deadliest peril, Optimus Prime. Of all the Autobots, only he, wise and powerful, beyond understanding, was able to unite the scattered warriors into a fully effective fighting force. Using his ability to transform into a combat vehicle, Optimus possessed firepower potential that none but Megatron could match. Yeah, this vehicle mode looks really weird here. But under the leadership of Optimus Prime, the Autobots repelled the Decepticons' assaults with renewed vigor and rebuilt their fallen city-states, until again they functioned as sanctuaries. And so the war raged for over 1,000 years, as Cybertron continued its mad rush through the cosmos. Until came the day when danger threatened from without as well as within. Cybertron's course was placed directly into the path of an asteroid belt. Autobot astronomers relayed the danger instantly. A meeting of the Autobot elders was called. And that is what confronts us, my friends. The home world will perish unless we act now.
Whether wrecked by war or not, this is our world, sire. One day we shall reclaim it. But first, this threat must be met.
Yeah, sorry, I usually do a lot better, but I'm still sick. So I'm sorry for my Optimus Prime voice.
I shall lead a specially selected group into space itself to clear a path through the asteroids. But there is another danger. Our flight will expose us to the attack of the Decepticons. Those accompanying me might all perish in the attempt to save Cybertron. But I shall be there to meet the enemy should he strike.
And unknown by even to Optimus, his words were heard by the Decepticon Ravage, whose detection by any monitoring device was virtually impossible.
Megatron will be pleased to hear of this, I'm certain.
The Autobots labored to construct a craft that would propel them into the void, a craft dubbed the Ark. Meanwhile, inside the foreboding castle that was home to Megatron,
You have done well, Ravage. Your abilities to absorb electromagnetic radiation and thus remain undetected are enviable qualities. And ever shall they be of service of the Decepticon Empire, my lord. See that you never waver, master of stealth. All too often, the nature of the spy is to weigh his loyalties and switch when he feels the time is right. Never, great Megatron. Now what is our course of action? We shall construct our own spacecraft, pursue Optimus and his fools into space, and strike when they are weakest, after completed task. The death of their beloved ruler will so demoralize the remaining Autobots that their surrender will be a certainty.
ahead the sons of Cybertron unleashed a celestial display, a power seldom seen, as huge chunks of space-borne rock were pulverized, clearing the necessary pathway, and inside the spacecraft,
Fellow Autobots, we have succeeded through your efforts, and soon our world will pass safely. through this dangerous segment of space and travel through the lifeless third planet of this solar system before going beyond. Let us rejoice in our achievement as we return to Cybertron, and let us redouble our efforts to end this slaughter that has consumed our world for so many centuries. We must make peace with the enemy, with the Decepticons.
But with the words of Optimus Prime were lost in the sudden din. The surprise attack violently shook the Ark and its occupants. Swiftly, the Autobots regrouped and retaliated, but their efforts were impossible to sustain.
We're too weak after the exertion of destroying the asteroids. Our firepower, no match.
Even the safety of the Ark was insufficient.
Our hull is breached. Shroom, prepare to resist Decepticon boarding party.
But the Decepticons were fresh, fully fueled for the battle, and the inner-word Autobots were cut down where they stood. My computation showed a fate is imminent. Within 3.7 minutes, optional courses of action include:
we have but one course open to us, Prowl. Most trusted of my advisors. Click. I had anticipated such a move by the Decepticons. The Ark and its secrets must never fall into enemy hands. So I plotted an alternate course that would take us on a suicidal heading, directly into the third planet of the solar system. Farewell, my friend. Though we die, at least our enemies are taken with us.
The impact was awesome. Huge clouds of dust and ash blanketed the nearby terrain as the spacecraft embedded itself into a volcanic mountain. But Droom. Silence. For over 4 million years, nothing disturbed the crypt-like atmosphere within that dormant structure. And then, like a sleeper rudely awakened, the volcano erupted in a crescendo of explosive brilliance. Vroom! The explosion uncovers an object buried some 40,000 centuries ago. An alien object pocked and pitted by the passage of time. Time which has changed the face of this planet, and those who dwell upon it. The currently dominant species has named this world they rule, Earth. This volcano, Mount St. Hilary. I think it was supposed to be Mount St. Everest after... Yeah, and the show is Mount St. Everest. Or Mount St. Helens or something like that, I can't remember. But they have marked the movement of time numerically. As it is reckoned, the date is 1984. But all that means nothing here. Time and place of seemingly little significance to those who lay within the rotting hulk. The shroud of darkness has descended again, here for perhaps another 4 million years. Perhaps not. Pinpricks of light appear inside the craft, and the barely audible hum of machinery, awakened by the titanic blast. Beacons flare, probing the darkness, illuminating the dank cavernous walls. In the side of the great ship, a hatch that has remained closed for millennia now opens. From a device is launched forth. It is a sensor drone. Its mission, gather data for transmission back to the Ark. The scout craft relays its telemetry to the mothership, although it was state-of-the-art technology when designed. Its databanks possess only the capability of perceiving mechanical light forms. Thus, the many carbon-based species pass below unnoticed by the active drone. Sensors confirm this is not Cybertron, nor any world in the Alpha Centauri star system. Scanning sequence continuing. Finally, miles from its point of origin, the probe picks up signals from what its logic circuits say must be one of the planet's indigenous life forms. The configuration bears a striking resemblance to Decepticon attack forms. The drone swiftly plots its return to the Ark. Forests teeming with countless life forms appear utterly dead to the drone, but an Oregon interstate highway sends a stream of data back into the Autobot probe, almost overloading its circuits with information. Functionally, they resemble the vehicular Autobot forms. An automation affinity exists, and that seems enough. But there is more, much more. Creatures of seemingly unending variety and shapes, all mechanically and electrically alive to the drone's sensors. Back to the Ark and Resurrection. The ship's brain dispatches revival drones to reawaken its long-dormant crew. Commencing revival procedures. True to its programming, the Ark alters the structure of its inhabitants, rebuilding them to be able to change their shapes in accordance with the mechanical life detected beyond the Ark, the better to ensure survivability. But its memory banks were damaged in the ages ago crash, and the knowledge of the Great War was erased. Thus friend and foe alike are equally subject to its attentions. The Ark's alterations are such that the basic nature of each robot is preserved. The Autobots are programmed to imitate earthly vehicles. The Decepticons will resemble earthly weapons and communication devices. Both factions, if necessary, can revert to their original robotic forms.
Megatron, what has happened? Where are we? The ship's brain imparted the information on locale to our circuitry. We crash-landed on this world ages ago, and we have been in a state of dormancy since, until an explosion reawakened the Ark, and it revived us. The Autobots, too, though groggy, have arisen from their stasis. Thus, let us finish the task that has driven our kind for centuries. But first, are we all accounted for on this brave new world? Skywarp's up for rating, sir, and my teleportational power will pop me right into their midst to make mischief. As ever, your cause is Thundercrackers, great Megatron. Our gland-browned enemy will soon be picked off at will as I soar over them, striking with rockets and sonic booms. As the fastest, most maneuverable of Decepticon jet flyers, I, Starscream, shall continue to accumulate Autobot body counts that enhance the reputation of our leader. Can the speeches, huh, Star? Rumble's back in town, and I'm gonna shake the place up with some low-frequency ground waves. You head 'em from up top, and I'll do the job down here. And I, Frenzy, will shatter our opponent's equilibrium using high-pitched sound waves. I will not cease until every Autobot is slain. And you, Soundwave?
I will monitor transmissions and read Autobot electrical impulses to learn their plans, even if my photographic memory serves as a defensive weapon.
Does even that compete with Ravage's power to slip undetected anywhere? And my own monitoring devices and my nose module allow me to smell, hear, and detect electromagnetic radiation beyond that of any Decepticon.
So apparently Buzzsaw and Laserbeak are talking too. It all pales next to the artistry of Buzzsaw. I can pinpoint a hex nut at 20 miles within my optical sensors, and my beak has carved many an Autobot warrior into a masterpiece of scrap metal. Just leave some for Laserbeak, comrades. Allow me a full struggling survivors of our battle, and I'm certain I'll prize some useful information from them with my optical lasers, even if they die in the telling.
Come, our time to strike is later. The ship's brain has placed into our circuits the knowledge that this world possesses enormous untapped fuel resources we can exploit in our struggle against the Autobots.
Why not strike now, my leader? End the Autobot threat, and this world is ours for the taking. What flawed logic pursues you otherwise?
Sound logic persuades me.
We are still weak ourselves. Oh, it's the Starscream's talking. Why not strike now, my leader? End the Autobot threat, and this world is ours for the taking. What flawed logic persuades you otherwise?
Sound logic persuades me. We are still weak ourselves, and few in number. One of our mightiest is missing.
So they're talking about Shockwave.
Our fuel source is uncertain. Shall our attack fail, the might of Optimus could well decide the outcome. No, we leave. We will fight, Starscream. but at a time and place of our choosing. At that, Megatron orders his Decepticons to turn and retreat, and while retreating, to transform. The Decepticons tear through the Ark's ancient walls and flee out of the volcano. Do you see their shapes, Great Optimus?
Warlike forms, native to this world, no doubt. The Ark has given us the information necessary to understand this prowl. Apparently, we can now transform into likenesses of beings who inhabit this world, as the Decepticons have done. Now let me ensure that our people have survived intact.
Ironhide's ready to roll, Optimus. I may be old and ornery, but my steel alloy skin hasn't been dented yet in battle, and I've got a bunch of new liquids I want to test out in my water gun, yes siree. Oh, I say, we leave right now and forget about traipsing after the stupid Decepticons. I'll use my strength. Oh wait, no, Huffer doesn't talk like that. I'll use my stress testing sensors and mathematical skill to rebuild the Ark and get us back to Cybertron where we belong. Come on, Huffer, get with it. I only require a drop of fuel to run, so I'm going to explore this whole planet, especially since the Ark said so much of it is water, and Bumblebee's little levers love a good swim. Well, Sunstreaker isn't leaving until the rest of this world gets a look at the sleekest Autobot in the bunch, and if any Decepticon dares to mess with the finish, he'll get 2 ground-to-air missiles stuffed where he won't want them. If you weren't as fast as Cliffjumper is, Sunstreaker, you wouldn't worry about your finish. And while I'm dodging fire, my gas gun can make any Decepticon, or glass gun can make any Decepticon brittle as ice.
Huh? Brawn don't need any gas to rip things up. Nobody's stronger than me. One punch in your building, or Decepticon goes bye-bye.
Sideswipe's right up here with you, Brawn, because I use my arms as pile drivers, I admit. It's a little rash to rush headlong at Decepticon fortifications, but not one of them stopped me yet. Frankly, I'd rather be elsewhere hunting turbo foxes than with you, roughnecks. While we're here, my electro disruptor is charged up. It not only interferes with the Decepticon circuitry, it almost makes me appear to where I'm not. That is why I'm called Mirage. Nice to hear how you got your name, Mirage. Now mine, Blue Streak, by being as fast as a blue streak, whatever that is. Some wise guys even say I talk like a blue streak. Whatever that is anyway, here I am. Listening to you, Blue Streak, taxes even the endless patience of Prowl. I have little to say, but my logic center dictates the most advantageous course of action in any situation. Well, that is Neo, Prowl, but me, Jazz. I like to just cruise around and take in the sights. And if I've got to fight, well, my proton rifle and overhead flamethrowers can make things hot for the big nasties. You burn them, Jazz, but let Hound sniff them out for you. My infrared radiation collector makes me the best tracker on and off Cybertron, and even if I get lost, my hologram gun projects terrain maps to get me back on track. Just let Wind Dart Charger zoom ahead and scrap a Decept between my magnetic arms. I'll take in this planet's scenery later. The only thing Gears wants to learn about this planet is how to get off of it. I hate this place already. I just know you're going to use me as a mobile transport unit again. Once we set up nuts, let's go home. Well, at least you don't have to patch up Autobots like old Ratchet does when one of us busts himself up playing up hero. But I've got the tools to fix anything, even though I'd rather be parting than tinkering. And Wheeljack is the guy you had to patch up most. I can't help it. I love to mess with gadgets, especially our weaponry, like my shoulder cannons. I try to be careful, but sometimes it doesn't work. Thanks for being around, Ratchet, old buddy.
I don't know how many times I, Trailbreaker, had to use my force field projector and hide behind my own barrier when your experiments with those shrapnel shells. You're worse than a wild Decepticon, Wheeljack. At least we can be thankful that all of us have survived to this point, and perhaps even our Ark is not irretrievably damaged. What say you, Huffer?
I don't need any detailed analysis to know the damage was extreme, but I guess I'll have to take a sensor survey to see how great. I'll try my best to, I'll try my best to effect repairs, but I don't have much hope. I'm really afraid we're stranded on this scrap ball forever. Don't be so pessimistic, Huffer. It's hard enough to keep everyone's gears in gear without you gumming up their motivation circuits.
My comrades, we must accept the sad truth that Cybertron may no longer even exist. But if it does, I swear, as leader of the Autobots, I shall return there someday. But our immediate concern must be the repair of the Ark, and the learning of all we can learn about this alien world where fate has cast us. Let Auntie transmit signals she is receiving from across this world and place them on the monitor screens, so that we may partake of knowledge, our greatest weapon.
For the next few hours, the Autobots stand motionless, their memory receptors absorbing masses of information regarding the machine life that seems predominant upon this planet. Soon, armed with this knowledge, they will venture forth. Oh, I skipped something. Life, the Ark sensors do not detect it here. Life, the Ark sensors did not detect it here those millennia ago when we sought to pass through the asteroid belt nearby,
and all of it unaware of the Decepticon menace in our midst. Our mission is clear. The renegade Decepticons are to be found and defeated.
Again, I'm really sorry about my Optimus Prime voice. I'm really sick. So I usually do a really good Optimus Prime voice, but I can't do it when I'm sick. But anyway,
it is our fault that they are here. Thus, it is our duty to see to their downfall.
Optimus, this world is fascinating. My reconnaissance missions will be far more exciting than my mere logistics gathering.
Agreed, Hound. But let us never forget our primary purpose: to spare this world from the scourge we have unwittingly unleashed upon it.
Elsewhere in the state of Oregon, life carbon base goes on. Uh-oh, I can hear it coming. Here's where I get the where were you after school lecture. But I can't blame Dad, he's right. Buster? Son, I've tried to understand. I know you haven't got the slightest interest in cars or mechanical things. But regardless, there are still times where I need you here. Sorry, Dad. You know I'm in the literary scholarship program, and there's so much library work involved I have to stay after school sometimes. But if I do get that scholarship, it means you'll have a lot less bills to pay when I go into college. I know you're doing your best, son, but you always got your nose buried in a book, and that bothers me. I just wish you were doing something more useful to you. Something that will lead you to a job someday. Know what I mean? Sure, Dad, I'll try, really. Well, I've just about got everything wrapped up here now. So go ahead. If you want to go to the movies with your buddies, okay. Just be back by 10. On the dot, I'll see you, Dad. Buster, I hope you know I'm only thinking of you. The world is full of folks that'll eat you right up if you don't show them you can do something. And that you'll learn by living, not reading. Not far away, a hitchhiker seeks a ride on the lonely highway, winding out of the side of Mount St. Hilary. I've had my thumb out all day, and I ain't seen a single car. Looks like I may be hoofing it all the way to town. Whoa, maybe I spoke too soon. But that can't be one car making all that noise. Hell, that sounds like the Indy 500. Holy smokes! A whole slew of cars, traveling on top speed, and nobody's driving. Well, Prowl, you'll be leading this expedition, so when do I get to start throwing punches? Optimus has assigned us the task of reconnaissance, Brawn. We're to avoid hostile contact until absolutely necessary. I'm with him, Brawn. Let me at him. Stay in line, Cliffjumper. You'll get your chance on my command only. Want to bet, Brawn, that I'll be the first to spot an Earthling? What do you make of all this, Hound? Nobody notices things like you. I wish I had half of your tracking talents. I'm too busy sorting my impressions out to give you an opinion, Bumblebee, but I will let you know. Prowl, my turret scope, has locked in some machine signs, vital machine signs, right just over this ridge. Prepare for contact, Autobots. Defense modes if necessary. Reaching the top of the ridge, the transformed Autobots draw silently to a stop, sensors sweeping the scene below. They strain to understand what it is they're scanning. Is that them, Prowl? Have we found the Earthlings? I don't know, Bumblebee. They look like the inhabitants the Ark scanned. But what was on the giant screen? What were they all assembled before it? Probably some kind of religious ritual, Hound. Why would machines worship moving pictures of strange objects? The only way we're going to find out, Bumblebee, is if to ask. High above, this is Decepticon Laserbeak reporting to Decepticon leader Megatron. The Autobots have ventured forth from the volcano and seek to make contact with this planet's inhabitants. Laserbeak's message causes consternation among the Decepticons assembled on an inaccessible mountain peak. The Autobots in alliance with the inhabitants on Earth. We can't allow that, Megatron.
We have already learned that Earth possesses abundant fuel resources that we can exploit as we prepare for the conquest of this world. We must deny those resources to our enemies. Go forth then, my Decepticons. Destroy the Autobots.
Their curiosity piqued by the strange ritual, Autobots move into the drive-in. All right, how many? Come on, you pay by the head, you know. And they speed right past the startled cashier. I'm going to be the first to greet an Earthling. Bumblebee, come back. We must reconnoiter first. You can't check the exuberance of youth, Prowl. And in a nearby car, hey Buster, Jesse, could you two disengage so I can see the movie? Sorry, yo. Hey, what the heck? We being hit. Bumped from behind by a fender bending beetle. Dad'll cream me. Listen, UI. That's weird. No one's in there. Did its brakes slip so that it rolled into Dad's car? Or is it some kind of joke? Buster's question goes unanswered as the Decepticons attract. Scree, zoom. Jumpin' jet fighters. This place has become a war zone. Buster, we've got to get away from here. You and O go for help, Jess. I've got to stay. How could I possibly tell them I thought I've heard this Volkswagen quiet in pain, and no one's inside? I had to find out what happened here. This is almost beyond belief. The Decepticons have launched an assault, and the Earth vehicles have done absolutely nothing to defend themselves. Can this strange ritual be so overwhelming an experience that it has put the Earth robots in a trance? Or was it the data from the Ark wrong? I must put my logic circuits to work on this.
Prowl, I don't intend sitting here all day being used for target practice. I say we make a stand here and now.
I had hoped to Optimus we'd avoid this, but it seems our adversaries have left us little choice. Assume defensive configurations.
Now you're talking my lingo.
Told Megatron this frontal assault tactic he's so fond of, foolish Thundercracker. Guile and stealth are far more effective than missiles in the long run.
We have to follow Megatron's way, Starscream. It's been successful up to now. I don't think we should be openly defy him, as you're known to. Get close to me, 'cause I can take the brunt of the firepower without flinching.
Come, Starscream. Surely you don't fear the strike at a foe that is unable to fly, do you?
Try to take a bite out of me, will you, Laserbeak? Well, here's something you can chew on.
I'll hold my attack for just a moment, while the Decepticon scum gets just within range. And then,
Thundercracker, look, Cliffjumper is alone. Slay him.
So, Starscream, you strike at me because you think isolation makes me vulnerable. You have obviously never flown in the face of my gas gun.
Yar, the gas coasts me, making my metal brittle and breakable as glass. Flee, Thundercracker, fly!
Ha, I hope my comrades have witnessed my triumph. But Cliffjumper's companions have other concerns at the moment. We must not let the battle divert us from locating our friend Bumblebee. The little one may be lying somewhere hurt, or worse. Hound's tracking abilities would soon pick up Bumblebee's trail, were not for the Autobots' own immediate location suddenly revealed to the Decepticons by one who skulks in the shadows.
Roar. Ravage. Finally you reveal yourself, Master Spy. Now back to your leader, Megatron, and tell him who defeated you this day.
I can imagine Ravage's anger when he learned that he fled for nothing mere three-dimensional holograms cast by my turret gun.
It will only be a matter of time before my concussion cannon strikes, and will be two less Autobots clanking around.
Cliffjumper, my logic circuits have determined the Ark was in error. Look, do you see? The movement exhibited by those bizarre-looking objects. Yes, but what does it mean? It means that the mechanical vehicles we saw were not alive, but those small figures are. That's why the vehicles made no move to defend themselves. They are not sentient. When they moved upon the roadway we saw, the small beings were controlling them.
What we are seeing is non-machine life. As hard as that may be to accept, that is the only logical explanation. Obviously, this changes things considerably. What should we do next? Next, we should report our findings to Optimus Prime in person. Radio waves can be monitored. Only he possesses the wisdom we need to deal with these new contingencies. Follow me to the Ark, Autobots.
But what of our small friend, Bumblebee?
Perhaps he was not injured too badly and has already left. In any case, we must leave immediately and draw the Decepticon fire, because these non-mechanical life forms do not appear capable of defending themselves. And not far away, the noises coming from this car are really weird, almost like crying. It's being badly damaged, leaking something that looks like what isn't oil. And I haven't got the slightest idea what to do. I'm no mechanic, that's Dad's field. Dad, say if I can get this bug to his garage, he'll know how to patch it up. And so Buster Witwicky climbs behind Dad Bumblebee's wheel, only to discover, no key, no ignition, no gas pedal. How does this car start? Vroom. All by itself? It's moving out, slowly, sluggishly. It seems like all I'm doing is guiding it away. From the battlefield, holy smokes. Am I dreaming, or those big robots who were fighting the planes just change into cars? Buster gets no chance, however, to further observe the Autobots' escape, for subject only to his steering where he wants it to go. The yellow Volkswagen whisks him away. Later that night, blang, clang. What the deuce? Somebody's messing around in my garage. What's that, oil? Buster, that you, son? What the devil? Dad, listen. Hey, don't tell me. After all my years of trying to get you to put down the poetry and pick up a monkey wrench, it looks like you finally took your old dad's advice. Fixing cars on the side, are you? Dad, I can explain. No need to explain, son. My shop's your shop. Use it any time you want. But I just want you to know, son, that I'm proud of you, right proud. Dad, I wouldn't know how to fix a car if I tried. That's why I brought this one to you. Only it's not a car. It's got wheels, boy, and fenders, headlights, too. Just what would you call it? Alive! Help me, please, I'm dying. Next, hey buddy, can you spare some fuel? So yeah, that's the end of this comic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be appreciated again. I'm sorry for my sick voice. I'm really sick. And yeah, anyway, thank you, and I'll see you guys later.